Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and build update number 4 of Revell's 32 Ford 3-window coupe street rod. I got a bunch done the past 2 days and I can't wait to show you everything we got going on here. So let's get the guys out of the way here and we'll get started. Let's start with the elephant in the room here. The body. Last update, when I was watching this, I put it on TV and I'm watching it and I looked at that thing and thought, well, that dang thing looks just like a stinking taxi cab. So I decided the flames are going on. I even put on the pinstripe on the trunk just to give that a little bit of life. So I put the pinstripes on those doors and they looked really good. I put the pinstripes on the hood and that looked really good. I put the pinstripes on the fenders and they looked horrible. It was just too much yellow on this black with the yellow of the car and all that. It was like just way too much. So I pulled them off and sure enough I scratched the fender a little bit, so on both of them too. So back to the paint booth they go. Wayne isn't too happy about that either. I didn't put the flames on like on the top of this. I had this opened up, so I didn't put them on that. I just thought that would be asking too much or just pushing it. So I just left that off. And I'm really happy with it because I kind of did like a sub build. Here's a picture of that. And that looks really, really great. And I think I even have a picture with the black on the fender, or the flames on the fenders. And we'll put that right here. And yeah, see, that just does not look good. So anyhow, there's the body. Let's go with the interior next because I'm super pumped about this. I gave it a coat of quick shine on everything, which locked the color in. It also locked the Molotov pen in. So now I can handle these without wiping that Molotov pen off. And that's the one drawback with those, is they stay soft. I did the seat cushion with it, and that gave that a lot of life. I still think I want to do a wash on this and highlight these the pads in here, or the pleats. But we'll see. That might just be kind of pushing it with the black on the interior and everything. It might just be a little too much. So that's going to be down the road anyhow. No pun intended. And then if you go to my Facebook page, which is Grandpa Mark's Hobbies on Facebook, there is a video on there that shows how to do the wood grain. It was posted yesterday, and it was like lights on for me, because I always struggled with wood grain, and I always want to use it and stuff like this, but never did until I watched that video. This took me 5 minutes, guys. Maybe, well, probably 15, because not only did I do that, but I knocked out the steering wheel too. And that is the best wood grain steering wheel I have ever done. No kidding around. Toot toot, blow my own horn. So there we go. We finally got that figured out, and it was so simple. So jump over there, sign into my Facebook page, and check that out. I'll see if I can put a link down in the description below, right underneath here, like right where you go subscribe and sign up and all that. But I'm not sure if I can, so I know it's over there. Next, we'll talk about the engine, if I can find it. Here we go. I put the chrome on the engine, top and bottom. The little Ford logos, I took some of my Tamiya Clear Blue, the X23, and my 4-aught brush, and I just dabbed it in there real quick and just wiped it really light with the tip of my finger, and to bring the chrome back out through it. And I'm happy with that. That really highlighted it and gave it a little bit of more life. After I got all that on, I did it on the bottom too. After I got all that on, I decided it's time to take the panel liner. So I grabbed my Tamiya's panel liner black, and I went over the carburetor. I went over the intake, touched up just here and there just to give it a little bit of life. It's amazing what that does to a carburetor and how it brings out the life. We've talked about that before. I think I even did a video on how I do it, but I love it. So now, other than putting the oil filter on that I painted gloss black for some reason, this will be ready for wires. So I need to get the wires ready for this. But there's the engine with the chrome on it. The carburetor. These things have the nicest carburetors. I'm telling you, this is like the third one I've done. Look at how beautiful that is in detail. So I painted it flat aluminum. I painted it the tungsten gold, and then I panel lined it. And that just makes that detail just pop. So I'm pumped up with that, and with all the detail, the linkage and all that stuff, I'll be able to just glue a piece of spring, homemade spring onto there, going up the front, linkage off the back. On this side, I'll bring my vacuum line in and run it here. The master cylinder is going to come all the way up, and it'll tie into there. So we'll have a vacuum advance run from the distributor. That'll come into there, and this is going to look great. So there you know what? I'm looking at this right now. There is no vacuum advance on this distributor. So I'm going to have to make one. But there's the carb, the air cleaner. I painted flat white and then went around and gave it a shot of the panel liner. This is the dark gray panel liner. Just, it gives it depth, I think. I put it on there, came around with a Q-tip, wiped it right back off. As soon as it went on there, just kind of so it burns into that flat paint a little bit, and like I said, it gives it a bunch of life. That was a thing that I tried a while ago, and it was like, yep, that was a winner. So there's that. The other thing I did is, remember I powder coated the pipes? Well, I had that gray panel liner out. I came around and I touched it up just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of depth. It's not to dirty them up or anything, just to give a little shadow lines. Because, you can't always say where the sun's going to hit, but you can sure make the shadows where you want it to look like it's hitting. So we got that. And then I was working on, or I was looking at, geez, that magnet's strong, my exhaust. And after I painted it the aluminum, now this exhaust was already glued on here when I got this. Remember, like I said, this is a Phoenix. So it was already glued on. It went through the stripper. It didn't take it apart. I was afraid that if I tried to pull it off, because there was a half a pound of glue all the way around it, I knew I would have just tore it up and made more damage. So I left it alone. But the mold line on these was driving me crazy. I talk a lot about mold lines because they're just one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I always try to do my best at getting rid of the mold lines. So all I do is I take my knife, just scrape them off until they're gone, and then paint it. So now we're on to our third coat of paint on the pipes. But I did that, and then I was looking at the cherry bombs, and it hit me what they were missing was that little red part that the exhaust goes into, and then they clamp down on tight or weld around on tight. So what I did is I took some of my Tamiya tape, put a piece out, cut a thin strip out of it, cut strips off of that, and just wrapped them around the cherry bomb where the cherry bomb meets the exhaust. And then I painted that red too. And then I touched up some paint where it was scratched and all that. But now it looks like, they look like the cherry bombs. See how they have the flared end in where the pipe can go in there and then get welded on. And that's what it was missing. And it's a little bit high. When this paint dries real good, I'm going to just come over with my Gundam panel liner, the gray, and I'm going to hit it with this. I don't use this very often, but I think with the tape, if I hit it with my Tamiya's panel liner, it's going to go right underneath that tape and peel it off. So I'm going to try this, just a dab, give it a little bit of depth, and we'll go for it from there and see how that looks. I did touch this with panel liner. I think I need to hit it one more time. It didn't really highlight the all the detail in there. It just kind of just disappeared. It went right back off the Q-tip, and once I do that, I like to let it dry a little bit before I do it again. So there's that. And then while I'm talking about the underside of it, I took this, I snipped some of the edges to open the groove. That's where the exhaust pipes go. Now I'll be able to run my wires through there for my headlights up front on the car. The wires will come down, run through that, back up, and into the trunk. So there's that. And then I also took my panel liner and hit around the master cylinder and the vacuum boost, just to give it some highlight, even though that this is going to be that way when you look at the car. I worked on the rims, and I'm really happy with these. I took my IGN Gray. I bought this, I don't know why. I think I bought it when I was doing Zach's ship, XF75, and then I never used it on it. So I got a whole bottle there, probably $5-6 worth of paint. But man, does it look good on those rims. So I did that. I hit the center with just a touch of the red clear, and then for the valve stem, rubber black, and I just did it in between the chrome and the little tip, and that makes it look like you have a little chrome valve stem cap too. And then I took the black panel liner and I just touched right next to the bolts and let it soak up around there, just to highlight and give it a little bit of life. So that's what it looks like on a clothespin, and that's what it'll look like on the rim, or on the tire. And man, I'm telling you, I'm happy with that. That really, really looks good. So I still need to do the tire, but that just pops on and off. I wanted to see what it looked like. So there we go with that. I also was feeling very steady today, so I painted the clamps on my hoses. And that's better than I could do with the tape, I think. So I'm just going to stick with that 4-aught brush, some chrome paint, and not use the tape anymore, because that just was a hassle last time, and it just didn't work out for me. So I can paint just as good as I can put that tape on. So there is that. And then I have my drive shaft. Since I had the flat aluminum out redoing the pipes for the third time, I did a dry brush on the universal joints, just to give them a little bit of highlight. And the whole reason for doing that is there is a lot of black underneath here, and I'm just trying to give it a little bit of life. And there's one more thing that I'm going to show you that I'm going to do, I haven't done yet, to give it a little bit more life. And that is, I'm going to chrome the pumpkin on the back of the differential. Just when you look at it this way, underneath the car, you'll see that chrome underneath there too. And remember, I did the dry brush on the springs too, so they'll show up. And there'll be a little bit of life, a little bit of interest. So everywhere you look on the car, you'll be able to see just a little bit of something else. So there is that. If you guys get a chance, jump over to Bruce's Eclectic World and check out the video he just did, or he just put up. It's a pictorial video of a truck that he made, and it's worth watching. It's really cool. A lot of skill in there, a lot more than I have for scratch building, but it gave me a ton of ideas, and maybe it'll give you guys some too. But he did a cool job, and it was really fun to watch. So there we go. I did it all without saying this is the last one and we're done, and giving you 12 more things. So I will let you go. You guys all have a great weekend, or a great week, and thanks again for watching, and the highlights and the thumbs up and everything. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great week.